right? You got the names, you got the new teams that they're on with the logo to the left, and then the new terms and the cash they're about to get paid. And add Aaron Jones to that list, as Tom Pelissero just mentioned about 20 minutes ago, moving over within the division to play on a year deal, $7 million with the Vikings. So take all those names, all those logos, and consider what teams needed. And Peter, take your pick on who won day one in free agency frenzy.
What a shame. That's the logo. And the team that I have that wins did not have their logo on there.
Oh, you know why, Peter? Because you just, you really go deep. You maybe something.
I got an obvious winner. A team that picked up a 25-year-old pass rusher and got maybe the best guy that was even on the market. I go with the New York Giants. Brian Burns, the New York Giants.
Ooh.
The entire show. Brian Burns is an absolute beast. This guy has been a stud for a franchise that's been just mired in Carolina, so you don't see him every weekend. This guy's an absolute dog. Giants yesterday, they lose a running back, and I'll just say a safety in Barkley and McKinney, and who are fan favorites. We get it. You think about value positions in the NFL. Running back and safety are not two valued positions for roster building in 2024. And what they did was they find a 25-year-old pass rusher for the cost of those guys. They also added offensive line help. John Runyon has never missed a game in his NFL career. He comes from Green Bay. He's going to be joining the Giants. Illuminor has been a solid tackle, a solid guard, and has played multiple positions his career. He comes over to the New York Giants. And then very quietly, as Tiki Barber's talking about Saquon, and we're doing all this stuff here, crying about Saquon, and Saquon, poor Saquon, poor Saquon. Devin Singletary, who has been more durable than Saquon Barkley the last couple of years and had a breakout year with the Houston Texans, signs with the New York Giants for far less. I know this seems like it's a hot take that the Giants won the day when two of their star players and guys who are under the age of 30 left. But I think Joe Shane and that front office did very well with what they had. And to get Brian Burns on day one of free agency might be the biggest win of all. I'm going the New York Giants as winners, not as losers, but as the biggest winners of the entire first day of free agency because they got the best pass rusher at 25 years old.
Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence in the middle. That's going to be a ton of fun to watch. Offensively, you just said Singletary. Still not that many weapons for Daniel Jones out there on the outside and now losing Saquon. But I'm going to stay right in the division for a team that won. I'm going with the Washington Commanders. You think about everything that's happened from Josh Harris coming in, then Adam Peters is hired, then Dan Quinn. And then you look at what they were able to do in free agency. Now, it might not have been the big splash players with paying at the very top of the market, but they got better with bringing in guys that are going to help this team win. Dorrance Armstrong coming over from the Cowboys, getting guys that Dan Quinn is familiar with. Also, Tyler Biadasz on the offensive line being able to help them. And then you guys are seeing Austin Eckler just take off down the sideline, a running back that can do it all for them. And then you can also add in, they got Zach Ertz earlier, but as of late, Nick Allegretti signed over there, coming over after winning a Super Bowl, how we all were applauding him for playing through injury. And then also Frankie Louisville. I think that was the steal because he played extremely well for the Carolina Panthers.
Another Panther.
At that linebacker position. And now he's going to be a member of this team. And I said Brandon McManus, a kicker, going over there as well. So I look at them, and it was those kind of below-the-radar signings that they did to add a lot of quality players on this roster who needs talent. And then you can't forget they have the number 2 pick of the draft that they might be able to go out there and get their franchise quarterback. So the Commanders, to me, all this good buzz around them continuing throughout the offseason.
Can I just add 2 cents on the Commanders? Because I spoke to Adam Peters at the Combine, and obviously I've got a relationship with Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. Their whole thing going into this is like, we want the best people in this building. We're going to build people. And of course you say, well, everyone wants the best people. But Austin Eckler is like an all-world guy. Frankie Louvo is an all-world guy. They added people that are also going to be cornerstones for the franchise.
I love
so
that.
This was all part of the process. My only question is, what the hell are they doing at quarterback?
Yeah.
Maybe we shall see.
Okay.
Right?
Draft-wise, you got Sam Howell now.
Yeah.
And now they can move on perhaps and probably with the young guy with their draft pick. What does it say about GMFB on March 12th that we have 3 divisional opponents winning day one of free agency because I go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh, wow.
And it's like spicier than the Saquon Barkley thing. The Saquon Barkley thing is really cool. You look at the New York headlines, and a lot of it has to do with like Barkley is turning his back on the Giants and all this stuff. But you look at the Philadelphia Inquirer headlines, and it's the Eagles just stole Saquon Barkley from New York and the market. The Penn State product, I'm thrilled for him as a person. I'm thrilled for Howie Roseman easily could have been in his feelings about what he has gone through over the last 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever. He had 2 legends retire from the Eagles, and he had to go out, and he didn't try to directly replace those guys, but I think he got great people to come play for Philadelphia, because Philadelphia as a marketplace is one of these fan bases, like, they need to love their athletes. I put Saquon Barkley on that, but also to go out again to New York and dip into the Jets pool and get Bryce Huff defensively.
This one I love.
This is really cool from the Philadelphia Inquirer. They have these 3 lines in it. Through his first 3 seasons, Hassan Reddick had 7.5 sacks, and then Howie Roseman committed to him. He had 50 sacks in the next 4 years. Bryce Huff has had 7.5 sacks in his first 3. The Eagles are just hoping he replicates that. It's a great addition for them defensively. So it's only 2 names. It's not like this huge bucket of free agents and the Eagles are walking in with, but really, really impactful guys. Kyle, your day 1 thoughts.
Well, listen, we'll see about the Eagles. I can't throw a parade for the Eagles today. They were one of the worst teams in the league at the end of last season. I still don't know what happened to them. And then they lost an institution, and they lost the best center in the game. And I don't know how the tush-push works the same way without Kelsey. I like the Saquon thing. I love Saquon. I can't throw a parade for the Eagles based on how I saw them in this season and just rolling over against the Buccaneers in the playoffs. We'll see if they can fix it. But I have a trivia question. Let's go. Let's see who at the table can get it. Okay. There were 2 defenders last year in the National Football League who did not miss a single snap all year. One of them was Bobby Okereke. Who was the other defender? Didn't miss a snap all season. What do you guys say?
We just said his name yesterday on the show, and the name is escaping me now. Who is it? I know you said it.
Former New York Giant as well, Xavier McKinney.
There
Didn't miss a single snap last season.
Bing, bing, bing,
Don't test me with DB talk.
DB talk.
Former New York Giant. Giants yesterday's news. Current Green Bay Packer. Peter, we got to talk, buddy. We got to talk. Peter did an infomercial earlier this week for Xavier McKinney. I thought it was really apropos. I thought it was insightful. Peter went up and down about how he's a 24-year-old safety. He's a team captain. He doesn't miss snaps. They drafted him. He's a great player. People love him in the locker room. People love him in the field. And then, Peter, you're just saying that the Giants won the day and that safety is not a valued position. I'm going to get you. I want your response. But I look at the Packers, what they did, adding a 24-year-old safety to battle against the likes of Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Jefferson. A great player, a great guy, really young. And the funny thing is, at 24 years old, I feel like he's going to be the grandpa of that locker room. The Packers are still super young. Josh Jacobs thing I like, too. Listen, I love Aaron Jones. Jacobs is going to plug right in there. He has an NFC North style of running. He's going to help Jordan Love. But the star here to me, yes, I love what they did with the safety. The Packers are in a duel right now. This is a real thing, them in Detroit. And we'll see what happens with the other half of the division, but them in Detroit. What are you going to do? Who are you going to bring in? I think the McKinney thing was big. Peter, respond. You gave the McKinney hype earlier. Now maybe going the other way. What are your thoughts on McKinney?
This wasn't anti-Xavier McKinney. When I saw the Packers were bringing him in, I was like, that's an amazing signing for the Green Bay Packers. They have core pieces at every position, and that's an awesome spot at safety. To me, if you're building a team in 2024, you got to get a pass rusher. They've got one now with him and Thibodeau, and you've got to have durability on the offensive line. So they spent that money elsewhere. And look, Kyle, I know we are into the stars, and we are into Saquon, and we love Saquon, and he got paid way more than this guy. Devin Singletary's been the leading rusher on a playoff team for 4 straight years. I know you like the motor also, so you're telling me you get Brian Burns, Motor Singletary, and 2 linemen, and you say goodbye to a safety and a running back. I think that's okay, too. That's why I'm just saying, team building. I love those individual players, but from the core of building a roster, the Giants did very well yesterday.
They did do well. I still want to know who their quarterback is going to be, and if it's going to be Daniel Jones week 1 or somebody else. The Giants had a good day, I think. I just think they let a very good player go. To your point, we were saying this about McKinney. You draft him, you love him, you name him a captain, but you don't want to keep him? That's what you hope for. And now he's going to be a star for the Packers. Watch McKinney. We're talking a Packers safety. That's how much we love it.
Kyle, quickly, I know how much you appreciate internet response and content. Did you see the take and the parallel between Brian Gutekunst and how he, when his player is near the age of 30, is a direct parallel to Leonardo DiCaprio in his dating life? I'm just saying, like, there is a parallel there.
Well, if that's true, then Xavier McKinney's only going to be on the Packers for like a year, and then he's done if they're on the DiCaprio method. But listen, I'm out of the questioning Gutekunst's game. As you guys know, once Jordan Love turned into Joe Montana for half of last year, I'm like, all right, maybe Goody knows what the hell he's doing. So I keep his name out of my mouth now.
I want to make one more point, too.
Yeah.
Saquon and Xavier McKinney, good players. It's great.
Yeah.
Joe Shane didn't draft them guys, and that's just the nature of the business. When you inherit someone else's stuff, you
that
don't
a
have the
Gettleman?
same loyalty necessarily. That was a Gettleman pick, so you might not have the same loyalty as fast. So this is like the Giants like resetting, trying to flip the page, and yeah, it's a good debate. You know, it's what it is.